Welcome to the Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy webinar. During today's session, you're able to ask questions of our panelists, and within a week of today's live presentation, the recording and the Q&A will be published on the communities and our YouTube channel. This month's topic is Smart Reporting, Best Practice Basics for Building Reports. To take us through this content, we have Daniel Marrujo and Bharath Kumar. I'll turn it over to you, Bharath.
Thanks, Greg. Hello, everyone. My name is Bharath Kumar, and I'm part of Smart Reporting Support Team in BMC Software. Joining with me today is my colleague Daniel Marrujo. He's also part of our Smart Reporting Support Team. So Daniel will demo some of the key features of Smart Reporting in the later part of the session. So let's take a quick look at the session agenda of what specific topics we cover today. First, we will talk about the overview of Smart Reporting. How does Smart Reporting work? Then we will look into the administration console of Smart Reporting and what all admin options are available in it. Third, we will look into the views of Smart Reporting, which are a kind of semantic layer that are used to build the reports. Fourth, we will look into some out-of-the-box reports and also some standard report creation process, including the analytical functions. Fifth, we will look into some dashboard creation, which are basically designed to visually display the interactive data. And finally, we will have a little comparison of Smart Reporting versus Crystal reports, which Daniel will present in the later part of the session. So let's take a quick overview of the Smart Reporting. As you all know, Remedy Smart Reporting is made available from 9.0 release. So it's an easy to use web-based reporting tool for designing your reports with rich data visualization and very interactive charts. So it's an ad hoc based BI reporting tool where users can directly drag and drop their fields to create the reports. Like I said, it's purely a web-based solution without any client installed. Smart Reporting is deployed on a Tomcat application. Prior to 2002 release, you have the option to choose a bundled Tomcat that is shipped with the installer or an external Tomcat. But from 2002 onwards, BMC no longer provides the Tomcat with the installer. So you'll have to first deploy a Tomcat in the server and then install Smart Reporting on top of it. So initially, Smart Reporting was designed to work with the ITSM alone, but from 1808 onwards, it also works with the custom Remedy applications without having the ITSM installed. So post successful installation, the very first step is to onboard your AR server users into Smart Reporting. So onboarding will create a data source connection from Smart Reporting to the AR server. Unlike the other reporting tools, Smart Reporting does not connect to your database directly. It connects to your AR server where AR will get the data from the database and sends it back to the Smart Reporting. So when a user runs a report, it first makes an API call to the AR server, which is where the row level security applies to the user query, and it checks for the user permissions on the forms, fields, or the support groups the user belong to. So basically, user can only see the data that he has access to. So if you look at the quick deployment model of Smart Reporting here, so user first logs into the mid-tier and goes to the ITSM homepage, from where he cross launches to the Smart Reporting using the Smart Reporting link that is available in the ITSM homepage. And whenever a user runs a report, it goes an API call to the AR server and AR will get the data from the database. And you also see a small image here, Smart Reporting database, which is a repository database of Smart Reporting, which stores the reports, views, or the user information, which is metadata related. So let's take a quick look at the core components of Smart Reporting. So going into the workflow, the very first component that you see here is the source connection, which gets created during the onboarding process. So the data source is responsible for getting the data into the reports. And then we have views. So a view is a metadata layer that sits between the source connection and the report builder. So basically it's used to define the relationship between the tables. And then we have reports, which is a representation of data. So the data which we get here is from the Remedy database using the source connection. So either we can create reports using the views, or we can create report directly using the freehand SQL feature. Next, we have dashboard and storyboards, which can be created using the reports or charts. So dashboard is a combination of reports and charts where we visually display the interactive data, and storyboard is another way of presenting the data which allows users to create slideshows with reports as well as text, images and videos. And then we have timeline, streams and tasks, which are kind of social activities within smart reporting. So tasks can be created and assigned to users for different activities like checks and changes or modifications that are done to the reports. So all of these are documented in our docs page. So please refer to them if you are interested in such features. So let's have a quick look at the administration area. So the admin area contains all the system information page, the user and content settings that are required to maintain the application. So only users with appropriate permissions will have access to the admin page. So basically this is a place where you manage the administration of your respective onboarded client organizations, and you can also manage your user roles and the content usage and monitor the sessions of the users. And there is schedule management tool available where you can see the list of broadcast reports which are scheduled to run on specific interval. Let's take a look at the views. So like I said, a view is a business layer where you define the table relationships. So using views, you can also hide the technical complexity like a schema, joins, or other database complexity. For example, a field may have a technical name in the database which end user may not be aware of. So at the view level, you can just give a simple non-technical name to it, which becomes easy for the user during the report creation. So once you have the view created, you can make it available for the report writers and they can build reports using the view. In addition, we have some out of the box views available for each module. So the very first step to build a view is to add the forms in the entity relationship diagram. Like I said, we are connecting to the AR server here and we don't see the direct database tables. So add the required tables to the view builder and join them as per the business logic or the data that you want to see in the report. Then the next step is you can select the required fields that you need in the report and create a folder and add the fields within the respective folders. And you can also define the calculations which are variable creations or renaming the technical names of the fields, and you can also reformat the fields at the view level. So some of the best practices to build a view is to select only the required fields that are required for the report creation. So basically the more number of fields you have in the view, the more complex the SQL becomes. And define filters at the view level itself because this will restrict some amount of data at the view level which improves the query performance. So like I said, create folders and add the fields within the folders. Always use multiple tables when creating a view, and rename the fields whenever required. For example, if you are seeing fields with same name from different tables, so to simplify it, you can rename it. Otherwise, the report writers may confuse which field to select in the reports. And use only the joins that are required. So the more complex join you make, the slower the report performance would be. And do not modify or make any changes to the out of the box views, because during the upgrade you may receive a newer version of the view, and it may override the changes that you made. So let's have a quick demo of the administration page and the view builder. So I'm logged into the smart reporting. This is my timeline page of the user. So let me go to the administration console. So this is how my administration console looks like. So you see the configuration page, which allows you to customize the settings such as the headers, footers, that are displayed in the report, and other configurations like email server and the date time formatting and other regional settings. And then we have the content settings, which allows to manage the way the reports or charts are displayed, and other customizations like tabular formats or the coloring in the charts. Then we have images and maps, where we can add images that are to be displayed as background images in the reports. Then we have email template, which allows to customize the style of the automated emails that are sent from smart reporting. And some more advanced admin functions are the schedule management, which allows us to view and manage all the schedules that are running in the system. For example, the automated reports, which are scheduled to send to the users. And then we have dashboard management, which allows to view and manage the dashboard tabs within the system. And then we have system information, which basically it provides the technical information like the build version or the code version, and other system properties like the Java and the OS details. And then we have the content translation link, which provides you with the technical translations that you have provided for the reports or the views within the system. And then we have the export and import options, which are useful for migrating the reports from one environment to the other. So let me quickly create a view here. So I click on this plus symbol to create a new view, and then it asks me to select the data source connection. So I'll create a view with multiple tables. So this is the first screen you see in the view builder. So basically this is a list of form names that we see. So I will create a view with HPD help desk form. And I will join it with HPD help desk assignment log form. So I added two tables. I'll make a join between them. So incident number is a common field between the two forms. So let's join using the incident number field. Let's make inner join. Okay, so I made the join and I'll save it. Now the next part is you need to select the fields from each tables. So click on this setting symbol on the table and expand the columns. So you will see the list of fields available on the forms. So I will select incident number, status, submit date from HPD helpdesk, and I'll take assign support group and other fields from the assignment log form. Okay, I have the fields. Now I'll go to prepare section and I'll create folders and I'll organize my fields under the respective folders. So if you click on plus here, you see add or edit folders. So I'll add a new folder. Okay, this is my folder. And I'll add the fields that we selected under this folder. Okay, next we can publish the view. So whatever changes that we make to the view, we will need to publish it so that the changes are available for the report creators. So I'm saving the view in the incident management folder. Now I'll create a small report with the view we just created. So I'll create a new report. These are the list of views that are available. So select the view that we just created and you will see the fields here. So let me drag the incident number to the columns. I have my incident. Okay, I have my data. This is the data preview, and if I go to the design mode, I'll see the output of the report. So this is a sample report. And this is a browse page where you can view the out of the box contents. Like we have dashboards and we have reports, the out of the box reports that are shaped, and then we have some out of the box views. So let me also show you how the incident management view is built. So I'll go to browse and I go to the views. So you will see the list of out of the views available. So this is the incident management view. Right click and edit. It will take us to the entity relationship where the tables are joined. So this is the view design. As you can see, HPD help desk is joined with different tables using different join conditions. To see the join, the exact join between the tables, you can click on this join and you will see the exact join condition between those two tables. Like you see here, HPD help desk to HPD impacted areas is joined using the logic incident number is equal to incident number and it's an outer join. And you will see the list of fields that are selected here under the columns. And a view is nothing but a SQL. So every view will have a SQL. So this is the SQL formed by this view. And if you go to the prepare tab, you will see the list of folders and respective fields under that folders. Like I have incident related fields under the incident details folder and date time related fields like submit date, reported date under the date time folder and assign group, assignee details under the assignment logs. Similarly, work order details under the work details folder. So whenever you make any changes to the view, always publish it, to make sure your changes are saved. So coming to the reports, as you know, we bundle some of the out of the box reports So overall, there are more than 100 reports that we ship. We have some for ITSM, CMDB, and for other modules. So these reports include both the tabular with drill down, drill through, and drill anywhere features, and some charts. So there are also some out of the box dashboards that we have seen in the last demo. So please note one thing here, the out of the box reports and views are imported only if you have the ITSM installed. So if you're using the Remedy custom applications without ITSM, then you'll have to create your own views and reports. So some of the analytical capabilities that smart reporting has is to create reports using subquery. We will look into union subquery here, where you join the data from different ITSM modules and display them in a single report. We have a way to create a report using the freehand SQL without using a view. So please note here, this is not a standard database SQL, but here we have the ARJDBC SQL, which is different than the standard DB SQL. And we can also create report to calculate the age of incidents, where we can group the age, and there are some predefined functions available like the month name, date difference, week number, and other predefined database functions which you can apply to your reports. And you can also write your own case statement with multiple when then else clause. And then there's a feature called a reference code, where you can define different colors for each value either in the report or in the chat. So some of the best practices for the report creation, always start your report creation with a filter defined, or before refreshing or running the report, make sure you add the filters and define values for it. So this will also avoid unnecessary querying on the database. Always use charts for data visualization, and use the cached filters in the reports, where you don't have to display the list of filters, list of values in the filters, as those are already cached. And make sure your broadcast frequency between the reports should be an hour. So there's an admin setting where you can configure this. The frequent broadcast causes performance issues for smart reporting and most possibly the ITSM apps as well. And for asset or CMDB reports, you should be designing the reports in such a way that they run every 24 hours, because the CMDB jobs are resource intensive. Everyone see the cached copy of CMDB reports whether you access report at 12:10 a.m. or before that. So this mostly works for CMDB data, since it doesn't change significantly after the existing jobs are processed. And we strongly recommend you to not to modify the out of the box reports, as you may lose them during the upgrade. And smart reporting, as you know, it's a self-servicing reporting tool, and do not use it as a data warehousing tool. So the best practice is to set the row limit to 10,000 and consume the reports. So the more number the row limit is, the longer the query execution time would be. So always use one report per one use case or one topic, and avoid complex joins in the view. As I told earlier, complex joins make the SQL more complex and takes longer execution time in the database. So we have documented this in our documentation page. Please go through them for more information. So let's have a quick demo of the report design. So now I'm in the smart reporting console. I'll first create a report using a union subquery. So for that, I'll create a new report using the incident management existing view. Okay, so I will add the company field in the filter, and I'll define the company value. Next, I will take the company field to the columns and number of incidents, and then I'll create a label number of incidents. So refresh the report, see the data for that company. Now I want to see the change IDs or the number of change requests in the same report. So for that I'll create a subquery using union clause. So select union subquery and then select the advanced in the style checkbox and select the change management view. Now we'll join the assigned support company. So here we need to join the fields from the master query to the fields of the subquery. So I'm joining the fields assigned support company to the assigned support company and number of incidents to number of changes, and here I'll create another label called number of changes, and I'll add these two labels, and I'll also add the support company as a filter in the subquery. Now let's save the subquery and we should see the data of both number of incidents and number of changes in the same report. In addition, we can also display the incident IDs and their status if you want to see the report in detail. So I added incident ID and status. So the subquery is incomplete, so we will need to add the change ID to the incident ID and change status to the incident status in the subquery. So let's edit the subquery and add the change ID with the incident ID and change status with the incident status and save this. Now this is our report preview where we can see the change IDs and their respective status, and below that you will see the incident IDs and their status, and we can give it or we can give it a different name, incident and change IDs. Let's go to the design mode to see the output of the report. So that's how my report looks like. I can see the change IDs and incident IDs under the same column. Next, we'll create a report using the advanced authoring freehand SQL option. So for that, we will first take the SQL of any of the existing report, and then we'll create a report using the SQL, the direct SQL. So this is one of the out of the box report. So I'll take the SQL of this report. So this report is created based on the incident management view. So now I'll create a report using freehand SQL with the SQL we just copied with. So I'll create a new report and select the advanced authoring option here and select freehand SQL, and the data source we have is the AI system. So this is the SQL query window where you can paste the SQL. Like you can see here, this is not the standard database SQL. This is the ARJDBC SQL. I'll remove the where clause for now. So we have the SQL. Now I'll validate it to check if there are any syntax errors. Okay, the SQL is valid. Now I'll save it. And I go to design to see the output. So this is my report using the freehand SQL. I can also go to the edit data, but I don't see the filter button here because this is a freehand SQL report. So if you want to add a filter to this report, then you will need to edit the report and edit the SQL and define the filter manually by adding a where clause. So I'm adding the where clause for status and assign support company. Now validate it again and save. Now I can go to the design to see the output of the report with the filters applied. So next we will look into the age bucket report creation. For that I will again create a new report using the incident management view. So to find out the age bucket, first we will need to calculate the age of the incident. So for that we will need to create a calculated field. So if you click on plus here, you will see the calculated window coming up. So you can create three types of calculated fields. One is simple, where you can write the case statements, and then we have freehand SQL where you can define the SQL functions directly, and then we have a predefined functions available. So here we have the date difference both in days and in seconds. So we use the date difference in days, and we calculate the date difference between the submit date and the close date, which makes the age of the incident. So I will give it a name, age of incident, and start date I will give it as submit date, and end date is the incident close date. So I have the age of the incident. I'll make it metric because it's a number. The output which we are expecting is a number. So we have the age of the incident. Now I will write a case statement to group this age into different buckets. So I'll write a case statement, case when age of incident less than or equal to 30, then display it as less than 30 days. Another where clause where age of incident between 31 and 60, then display it as between 31 and 60. And we'll have another where clause where age of incident between 61 and 90, then display between 61 and 90. And then finally we'll write another when clause when age of incident is greater than 90, then display greater than 90 days. Okay, so we have the case statement, case when age of incident less than or equal to 30, then display less than 30 days. Similarly, when age between 31 and 60, then display 31 and 60, and age between 31 and 90, then display between 31, 61 and 90, and when age of incident greater than 90 days, then display greater than 90 days, and always end the case statement with end clause. Okay, my SQL is valid. Now I will save this. Okay, I have the case statement ready. I will also put a filter here where the age is greater than 0. Okay, we have the age of the incident. Now let's take the number of incidents and their age bucket, and let's refresh the report. As you can see, we have, let's sort it. Okay, this will sort in the alphabetic order. So we have 318 incidents which are closed between 31 and 60 days, 2 incidents between 61 and 90 days, and 168 incidents which are greater than 90 days, and 580 days which are closed in less than 30 days. So now we will look into the some of the predefined functions that are available under the calculated fields. So I'll create a simple report. So either you can drag field one by one, or you can select multiple fields at once and drag them all. So I'll also take submit date to the columns. Okay, this is our simple report. So we have submit date and incident ID. Now I want to display the month name of this respective incident ID. So for that, I will create a predefined function month name which is available, and I will apply it on top of the submit date. So I will give it a name month submit date, and I will add it to the columns. So this should give me the month name of that submit date, like you can see in the report. Similarly, we have other predefined functions like date difference, date add, week number, day. Let's apply day, and it should give me the weekday of that incident created date. So I'll apply date function on submit date. So day of submit date. So it will give me the day of the submit date. Yeah, it will give you the day number of that incident created date. So I'll save this report. Under the incident management folder. So you can also restrict the report to yourself, or you can make it public. So I saved my report. We have another feature called co-display, where you can add multiple reports to the same page, to the same report. So I'll select co-display and I'll go to the related content, where I'll join the report with another report. So I'll search for the report here. I'm searching for incident details report. This is a report, and I will add it to the tab co-display because I want to have the report shown in different tabs. Now I'll publish this again. As you can see, I have two reports in different tabs. This is my first test report, and this is the incident details report where we created using the co-display. Okay, and that's about the predefined functions and how to display different reports in a single report window using the co-display. Now we will look into the charts with multiple colors. So for that, in order to display different colors for a value, we'll need to first create a reference code called org reference code. So for that, we'll need to go to the admin console and go to the reference codes here. So I will define, I want to see a different color codes for status values. So I'll create a org reference code for the status field. So I want custom colors, so I will enable the custom colors checkbox. And values, so we'll need to define the values here. Resolved yellow color, so these values must match with your actual database values. Okay, I defined color for each of the status value. I'll give it a name status or reference code and save it. Now I'll create a report. And we'll create a chart using the fields. So let's take number of incidents and status. Since we created a org reference code here, we will need to apply it in the field properties. So for that, go to the format of the status field and select edit. So we have the format type here. We need to select the reference code and status org reference code which we just created. So this will assign that different colors to the different status values. Now let's go to the charts. And add the number of incidents to the vertical axis and status to the horizontal axis. So by default, it takes the column chart, the auto chart takes the column chart as default. But if you want to select your own chart, then go to the select chart type, and you have different chart types available here. So I just selected the default column chart here. Now I will need to apply color codes for status that we define in the org reference code. So I will add status to the color and I will apply the reference code here. So you see here the data which you see here, it has different colors for each of the status value. So let's go to design to see the report output. So we have assigned in orange and closed in purple, like we defined in the org reference code, and we also have the table here. If you want to hide the table, then we can just hide it. So now we just have the chart. We don't have the table. So that's about the org reference code, which is used to assign different colors to the values in the charts. So next I will pass it on to Daniel. He will continue with the dashboards creation and other features of smart reporting. Thank you.
Thanks, Bharath. My name is Daniel Marrujo, and I'm on America's team on supporting smart reporting. I'm going to talk about first dashboards. You may see dashboards before, as you may know. You can put several reports into a dashboard, so it will give you a very meaningful report that can explain a behavior in just a single view. We have some of the box dashboards, and the principal ones are the CTNDB and the incident dashboards. In this one, you can see a quick resume of your incidents and the changes that you have in there. That's the purpose of a dashboard. This is a self-service tool, so you can get into the dashboard and construct more of them. And let me show you the best practices to build a dashboard. Okay, what to do when you're planning to build a new dashboard? Try to use chart reports or reports with very low rows. Why? Because it will give you a very, very good quick view of what you are trying to express, of what story you are going to tell to the end user. If you just put lots of reports in there and the intention is them to analyze, then this dashboard do not work, and that's not the intention of a dashboard. If you're using a complex report that takes some time to load, what I recommend you is to change the load into sequential. This will reduce the load to the database, as it will load the reports one by one instead of all of them that is the default behavior. What not to do? There's an option that I will explain in my demo to reload the reports every selected amount of seconds. Please avoid to use this option. I'm going to show it later on the demo. And also, please do not include too many reports. Remember, this is a dashboard, and the intention is to have all information in just one view. It's better to construct several dashboards with the specific information that you want to show, rather than having one big dashboard with 10 or more reports. my recommendation is don't go more than 5 or 6 reports in a dashboard. Also, another recommendation that I can give to you is to, as we say before on the report building, try to use the same color on the chart. So when you put it into a dashboard, all the reports will have the same color and will represent the same information for all of the reports. I'm going to demo the dashboard creation. So to create a dashboard, you need to click on the plus sign, select Dashboard tab, and let's start with the Standard tab. This will pop up your editor for dashboard. So the first thing you'll need to do is start dragging reports here. Look for a few reports. For example, let's add this one and this one. You can add any number of reports that you want in here. On a dashboard, you can change very easy the layout. You need to click here, dashboard layout, and you can select one of the options that we have in here. For example, let's change it to this now on 3 columns. This will add an additional column in here so you can add more reports in here. Let's get back to the original one. As I said before, to have a cleaner dashboard is the best way to go. You don't want to have more than 5 or 6 reports because it will lose the impact that your dashboard can provide. At least 4 or 5 reports will do it in here. Third option is the analytics setup. In here, you can link filters or fields between reports. So this will help you to have just one single filter in the dashboard instead of 2 of them. Let me show you this. First of all, here you can select if a field must be displayed or not. Let me go with both submit dates. And let me show you how it looks like. So we have 2 submit dates in here. The first one will affect the first report. And the second one will affect the second report. So I don't have that much data. This is all data. That's why no results return. But as you can see, we have 2 filters in here instead of 1. Let me get back to edit this dashboard. Now, what we can do with analytics setup is, for example, remove this submit date. Just leave this one and link it with the webinar report. Select filter, we select the submit date, that is for this second report, and click on save. Now we will just have one filter that will affect both reports. Let me show you that. Save the report. And as you can see, now we only have one filter in here. And we can select a range of data. And now it affects both of them. It's a very good feature to reduce the effort. So let me get back. Fourth option is how the filter will look like. For example, the submit date that we have activated, I selected to be on the left and apply the location on top. We can change this. We can say we can have it on right and to have it on bottom. Let me apply this and let me save it. So as you can see, now the filter is on the right. Can apply something. And the go bottom is on top. The last thing was here on top. Let me get back to it. The fifth option is just the security of the dashboard. We can select here to add more subscribers, people who will have access to the tool. So we can add one user in here and to add or delete them. Sixth option is how frequently the reports will reload. For example, you can select this report to refresh every, I don't know, every 5 seconds. And only this one. So let me do this. Let me save it so you can see the difference. Wait for 5 seconds and the report should reload itself. You see? It reloads. Every 5 seconds it will reload by itself. The option is in here, but we don't really recommend it because it adds stress to the database to be reloading every 5 seconds. As you can see, this means that every 5 seconds you will launch the query to the database to reload this data. Only use it if it's really required, but if not, please avoid to use this option. And the last option is just if you want to have the help on this dashboard and the units that all the information will be displaying. That's pretty much it. Let me say the dashboard, and that concludes the demo for the dashboards. Smart reporting versus crystal reports. Well, these are some of the options or what smart reporting can offer versus crystal reports. First of all, smart reporting is supporting in Windows, Linux, and Solaris versus crystal report that is only on Windows. This is smart reporting is in-app reporting and self-servicing reporting tool, and this needs to be installed apart and integrated to the AR. The smart reporting required to confirm emitter configuration, and in the other hand, the user-facing meter needs to be integrated. Smart reporting connects to the AR to fetch the data. That it's the same on the crystal reports. In smart reporting, we have multi-tenancy that we can use in here. In resume, most of the crystal reports can be represented on smart reporting, but there's a different mindset that you need to work here on smart reporting. Here is a very basic report that I recreate on smart reporting. It's a change request crystal report that we can represent in here that just have the change ID, a detailed description, and the change type. It's break by sections as in crystal reports, and as you may know, on smart reporting you can export it to Excel or PDF, and it has the same flexibility. This is just a basic one. I know there are many or plenty of use cases, but let me show you how I build this crystal report from scratch. I'm going to show you how to replicate a crystal report. First, you need to go and click on report. And for this example, we're going to use the change management view. For this example, to replicate from the screenshot that I showed you before, we're going to need first 3 items. First one is the change ID hyperlink. We're going to need the detailed description and also the change type. And for filters, we will need the change request status and of course the submit date. Let me show you how it looks at this point. We can modify or adjust this detailed description so it won't take that much space and the report will look better. So it looks like this right now, but on the crystal report we have the capability to break the report. So what we need to do is just move this one to sections and another copy of change request status in here. And now, as you can see, the report is breaking. Let me show you how it looks like. And as simple as this, now you have a replication of a crystal report here on Smart Reporting. You have your filters in here. You can just show one of them or most of the status. And of course, you can filter between the submit date. Now that I introduced just these 3 filters, you will just have this information. And of course, you can simply export this to PDF. It's a very similar report as you have on a crystal report. But how easy you can replicate a crystal report here on Smart Reporting. Here are some references that you can use. We cover the basic overview of the tool and the definition of the main components. What is a view? What is a report? What is a dashboard? And some examples on every of these ones. And a very basic example of how to replicate a crystal report on Smart Reporting. So that's all from my side. All back to you, Greg. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Daniel. And I'll take us through the self-help and contacting BMC. This top link is our YouTube channel. This is where this webinar will be posted, along with other webinars we've done in the past, as well as a rich set of how-to videos are available on our channel. The schedule for the Connect with Remedy webinar series is available at this communities link. This has all future as well as past webinars we've done, and a nice resource is the Hot Off the Press newsletter to find trending information. As always, to contact technical support via the web, phone, and email, as well as these social channels. That concludes this month's session. Thank you.